there's a saying in like the car world and stuff like that about how far away you can get from a car is that the car looks good. So this is about a good 10 paces, so like 10 yards, 30 feet. Looking at it, you know, you might not notice. Or, you know, if you were in like a grocery store parking lot walking through, you might be like, yeah, I don't see anything wrong with it. So it's not until you start getting closer that it's like, oh, uh-oh. That ain't good. Hey there, YouTube. Welcome to Big Mike Beard Wisdom. So we're back on the Sonata, and today we're going to try and kind of get this so it's semi-drivable. The insurance claim, the body shop that they recommended is, you know, about 30 to 40 miles away. So I got to get this so it's drivable. The big reason why I don't want to drive it now, having this big gaping hole in here lets water in where maybe water should not be. That and rocks and other debris. So if you wind up hitting something on the road, like a rock or another small animal, and you fling it inside of here, that can create issues. Obviously rocks can hit this, maybe damage hosing, wires. Water can get into places where water's not designed to be, especially orange wires like that where it's the hybrid system, and you know, if you pee on it, it kills you. And then there's a module thing probably right over there, so it's one of those things where you want to be kind of careful with it. And what I'm going to wind up doing is essentially using this trim clip set to try and pop in the trim pieces that are missing. So like this wire here goes up in here, that hole lines up over there, this hole lines up with that body hole there, that one goes there, there's another one over there, and this one, its friends are long gone, so that's going to be a duct tape situation. And to help fix this, I'm going to use a little bit of Windex to wipe everything down, and paper towels. I picked up some black duct tape, because why not? It'll be a little less obvious maybe. And then I'll probably just wind up duct taping this over here, but I'm also going to cut up a little bit of cardboard to help get a good shape and maybe a little bit stronger backing for inside of here, because the last thing I want is a rock or something like that hitting the duct tape and cutting right through. It's not a big deal, and really, you know, I'm probably overthinking it just a touch, but I'd rather have this be relatively safe. That way I don't have any issues going down the line, especially if they go, well, this part of the car was damaged, so this warranty claim you're trying to say that, you know, the car's acting up is because of this damage that was done and not because the car broke down. And then a lot of times all the trim clips will be relatively the same. So if you've got a fancy trim clip pliers like this one, it's kind of handy. So it's got these fingers that grab into the little notches, allow you to pull the trim clips out. Otherwise you can do pretty much the same thing with a screwdriver. Just pry it out slowly on each side and it should slowly come out. So I know that in this kit I need to try to find something that maybe isn't exactly the same as this one, but has roughly the same shape and length and thickness. That way it pops in and holds. Worst comes to worst, the Christmas tree pins work, but they can be a bear taking them out. So this bottom part here, right where my thumb's at, you want that to be about the same size. These over here are very similar. So this one here, they're very similar, but they're just a bit shallower. So on an area where I've got, you know, maybe a piece of plastic or 2 or 3 pieces of plastic, it may not work, but it looks like the first one popped in pretty good. This is just a single piece of plastic going into the metal. So both the back side worked out and the front side. This one over here might be about the same, but you can see it's got 2 pieces of plastic it goes through. So that piece of plastic followed by this one going in might be a little shallow. Or just enough. Yep, that's in. So then you want to kind of give it a good shake, make sure it's steady and stays in place, because that'll be something, you don't want this working loose again, getting into the tire, and the whole thing yanking free on you as you're driving down the road all over again. Same thing for if you're thinking, hey, I'm going to wrap the duct tape around something, like I'm going to help use something over there to secure the duct tape. So if you run like a inner stringer somehow, that inner stringer, should something happen, that this breaks loose and gets free and you run it over, it's going to yank it out, and if you've got a stringer tied to something, there's a chance you're going to lose it. So for me, it's all going to be pretty much superficial. So if anything winds up working loose, it's just going to be loose and I'm just going to have to deal with it. I now have push pins all in there. This is now fairly sturdy. It doesn't wobble. I did notice that underneath it broke down there too. That I'm going to leave it be so that can blow around a little bit. So then over here I've got this air duct. So I've got the air duct taped to kind of secure the air duct here in place. That way this is all locked in. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of take this down here, bring it over to this air duct over here, kind of get this side over, lifted up just a touch. That way that's a little bit easier to mount. And then I'll start filling in the gaps with cardboard and tape. Alright, so took a little bit of the tape, taped it on the back side of a piece of cardboard just to help a little extra structural rigidity. And then also, I don't know if I'm going to be driving this in the rain, either when I drop this off, which it's supposed to be nice and, you know, good weather tomorrow when I go to drop this off at the body shop, but when I go to pick it up, it might get worse. And, you know, there's probably going to be a time frame that they got to order parts. And with the world the way it is, a lot of stuff's in shortage, so it might be a while until this can get fixed. So what I'm going to do is kind of set this up, trim this corner over here just a little bit, that way it sits in just a little bit flatter, and then tape this in, that way it's nice and solid. I'm hoping the little bit extra tape back here helps keep the cardboard dry. So I don't know, might be just over engineering something that's not going to work anyway, but a little extra strength can't hurt. Just uses up more tape. Alright, and then for this big hole that was right here, I more or less just used tape on it. So for me, that compound angles and stuff like that, that's too tough to kind of make. So just running tape on it will do pretty good. I did throw an extra layer, so there's a couple of them down here that would just add a little bit extra strength down here, because I'm sure that's going to flex a good bit, and it'll be interesting to see how well this holds. But with the Windex, hopefully getting all like the grease and stuff off and the wax, hopefully this helps stick better. I'm also kind of rubbing this pretty good to make sure that this is actually stuck pretty good, so hopefully that works out. This is all in now, so I've got all those taped down and crossed over a little bit with the ones over here to help add strength. Around this air vent, I did cover it just a touch, so there's like a little, maybe a little 1/4 inch over here. This one's more like a 1/2 inch, so not too bad, but hopefully that helps deflect things. I'm thinking anything that's wobbly has a chance of shaking loose. And then this side here, I threw a piece of cardboard in right there, and again I backed the cardboard, so I'm going to throw a piece of tape up back in the inside and stuff just to help make sure this sticks a little bit better. And then this last piece, what I'll do is I'll tape the back side really good and then see if I can't get it to stick up here, flip it down, and then make sure the tape's really good out here. I won't have any tape there that I can put down on the bottom side on the inside to help make sure it's got, you know, extra points of contact closing it up, but it's sealing up pretty good. I got the tape attached on the back side of that, attached up here. You can see it covers it pretty well. Kind of a big gap down here, but I'm fine with that. This is just temporary anyway, and it's one of those things where there's a good chance the body shop might yank the whole stuff out, in which case I want to make sure I've got plenty of tape to go home with to kind of do the same thing and kind of help, you know, patch it back up. So fingers crossed everything's all good to go. The chances of it hitting something like a rock right there is probably slim to none. This is probably way better than it really needs to be, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. That's all in. Everything's all rubbed down. I did go one extra tape width past this hole over here just to help make sure that everything's kind of nice and set. Because this one doesn't like to stick. So that's the big thing that we're going to risk, is any of these pulling down. So if it winds up being kind of humid today or tomorrow or the next day, and then one of these kind of going pew and losing where it's at, kind of peeling off and then getting caught by the tire, this could get yanked as I'm going down the road, and then it'd be just running around like the way it was before. So hopefully this is all good. Everything seems taped up pretty well. Stability wise, that seems pretty good. It's only when you start hitting these panels that it turns into a drum. This will help fight anything that might be, you know, blowing around as far as the tire and stuff like that, so slinging it. So fingers crossed we're all good to go. It looks like it's nice and far away from the tire on the inside, and I pretty much followed the old body line and shape of it, so we should be good as far as that goes. Again, it's probably way over engineered for what it is, but it's just one of those things where, oh look, it's perfect. So from this far away, you almost can't see the tape at all. So, if you guys wind up damaging your car in some way, shape, or form, have to do a quick patch job, you might be able to get away with tape that kind of matches your car. So I got lucky. All three of those cars are black. So we've got black tape to cover anything if need be. And it should be relatively safe to drive. Fingers crossed. Here's hoping. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll check you next time.